It's time for our nutrition and wellness segment, brought to you in cooperation with Tri-City Regional Medical Center. Our own Alikona Bradford is joined by registered dietitian Amanda Sensabaugh to discuss carbohydrates and eating healthy.
Aloha, Hawaiian Gardens. Hopefully you've been enjoying all the information that we've been giving you here on your health and wellness proportion. So I'm Alikona.
And I'm Amanda Sensabaugh, registered dietitian.
And one of the things we want to cover today is good carbs versus bad carbs. I know a lot of times when we go on our diets, we always think 86, all the carbs, but really it's a good source of energy. So maybe you can help us differentiate.
Yeah, actually, Alikona, your carbohydrates are your first form of energy, which is your glucose. Without your glucose, you're shutting down your body from being able to think appropriately. Then it's deriving on other sources that are actually stored. So you actually want carbohydrates in your body, but it's important that you get the good ones. So here we have some good carbs, and we're going to compare some bad carbs for you. So we have whole grain products here, like your breads, your pastas, your rice. The whole grain products are considered better carbohydrates because they actually have fiber in there. So the fiber is going to slow your digestion and keep you fuller longer. Same goes for your natural carbohydrates, which is your fruit. Your fruit has an abundance of nutrients, vitamins, minerals, as well as fibers. It's going to slow your digestion as well, keep you fuller longer. But most importantly, you're getting that first form of energy, your glucose. And I know it doesn't have a food label, but one serving is actually half the piece of fruit typically. So
really interesting. Yeah, we covered that last segment. If you guys didn't notice, if you guys are really bad with getting some fruits into your diet and you're just not, favorable to that, 2 servings in 1 apple, like so it's awesome.
Not, if you spread it out throughout the day, you get what you pretty much need, which is about 5 to 7 servings of total fruits and vegetables. You're getting lots of fiber there as well. Some of the other things, though, that aren't so good, we have on this side.
This is your typical, like, when I have lunch, like people like to put it alongside their sandwich or what have you. Now you think guacamole, like guacamole is good, but then you look at some of the things that we're pairing with it, it's not so
And
good.
actually, your guacamole, it's good if you have an appropriate portion size, but it's very high in fat. It's high in the good fat, your omega-3 fatty acids, which is good for your brain functioning. But when you pair it with the salty chips that have lots of added sodium in there, you're getting a lot more than you actually need. So just keep that in mind, that fruit might be an actual side snack that would be better.
Okay, and I have over here kind of interesting yogurt, but it's whole milk yogurt, so you got to be really careful. For me, again, I kind of go for either a coconut milk or an almond milk, but for you dairy lovers, you want to make sure you're not doing too much of the whole milk.
A good option if you do want to do yogurt and you're not getting too much calories is Greek yogurt.
Yes, we talked about that a little bit earlier in one of our other episodes.
It has like double the amount of protein, so it's a really good source there.
Yes, yes. Also, pastas. I think people need to be careful. I know a lot of times automatically when you think cutting carbs, you're cutting your pasta. Sometimes it just depends on the type of pasta that you're having and the proportion, again, that you're having. So, when you go for your traditional pasta, it is a little bit higher in carbs, maybe going for more of like a whole grain.
A whole grain because it has the fiber intake in it, so it's going to slow your digestion. Remember, about 3/4 of a cup is 1 serving of carbohydrate for your pasta. Right there, you're getting 45 grams of carbohydrates, which you would be able to find on the back of the food label. So remember, at a serving, you really should be getting about 15 grams, so you're getting triple right there. So it's always a good thing to combine it with some protein. Some chicken, some turkey,
tofu,
some fish, exactly. Because then you're getting the good combination, which will keep you most satisfied and fulfill you longest.
Okay, just one last thing I want to hit before we, say goodbye to everybody. Potatoes. We have a sweet potato, we have a regular potato. It is a complex carbohydrate. You don't necessarily have to 86 it completely from your diet, but how much of potato and how often should I be having it?
Typically, half of a potato is considered 1 serving.
Okay.
That's all you need for the day, really. You don't need much more than that. And she mentioned the word complex. Complex meaning it's a better option for carbohydrate. Your other option would be refined, and therefore that has much more sugar in it, much more carbohydrate. That's not going to keep you as satisfied as long, so you want to keep that in mind when you hear those words, because those words can get thrown around sometimes and be somewhat confusing. On a food label, though, you'll always find the word carbohydrate. So you want to look at the fiber content and the protein content. That's really important.
Okay. Also, too, I know I keep saying last thing, but the one last thing, maybe you can clarify, why is it good to have carbohydrates? What do you need it for?
It's really important to get carbohydrates in your body because you want to make sure that you keep your blood sugars within normal limits. Your blood sugars tend to alternate throughout the day. They go low, they go high. When they're too low, you feel fatigued, you feel tired. When they're too high, they drop rapidly, like a roller coaster effect.
Interesting.
And that tends to cause you to crave more of the carbohydrates, which typically is the sugary ones, like your fruit, which can be an example. But you don't need to get an abundance because you won't be able to absorb all the nutrients. As well, if you get a lot of carbohydrates at one setting, you're getting a lot of extra added calories. So just keep that in mind as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, you know, Amanda, I found that extremely informative. I hope you guys did too. It's been an amazing journey, like I said, so far, and we can't wait to join you again. So thank you.
Thank you, Alikona and Amanda. Great information as usual.